Hello and welcome to Ring Takes, episode 92. We are back, fresh off the heels of the Royal Rumble, joined by Brian and Lewis as always. Thank you guys for being here as always. The Royal Rumble happened a couple weeks ago with a surprising winner, which brings us to episode 92. Is this the year of the Yeet? Jey Uso winning the Royal Rumble, a big surprise from the picks. I'll get into the picks real quick. Let me take that down. There we go. In the women's Royal Rumble, actually, we had I had Bianca Belair, Ryan had Io Sky, Lewis and Brian getting it right with Charlotte Flair picking up the win. Not surprising in the least because we kind of felt it was going that way. But she picked up the win. We had DIY. Me and Lewis had DIY retaining the tag team titles, where Brian and Ryan had Motor City Machine Guns. I thought it was a good match. But DIY picking up the win. And then we had Cody Rhodes retaining his WWE Undisputed title and adding the winged belt back to his disposal there.
It's all Sammy's fault.
Is it?
It is.
He didn't do nothing. He just stood right there and watched it.
That was a hellacious match, won by Cody Rhodes. Kevin Owens always putting on a good show at the Royal Rumble. I don't think he's had a bad match at the Royal Rumble. And we all got the men's Royal Rumble wrong. All of me, Brian, and Lewis picked CM Punk. Ryan picked Roman Reigns, and we were all wrong. 0 for 4 on that one, which definitely sucks. But the Royal Rumble always entertaining. But let's get into it. Jey Uso winning the Royal Rumble. Is this the year of the Yeet? Apparently, he's going to be facing Gunther, challenging Gunther after their confrontation on Raw. What do you guys think about Jey Uso being in this position and challenging Gunther?
You know, a couple of weeks ago, somebody was on this podcast, and then in anticipation for Jey Uso's world title match against Gunther at Saturday night's main event, that person on this podcast had said that if the positive momentum that Jey Uso had been building over the last couple of months continues, that you might have to consider putting the world title on him. Now, that person did not predict they were going to do that shit this year so soon, but. but definitely, you could definitely see that they're trying to strike while the iron is hot. I mean, no, like Lewis said, Jey Uso was a dark horse. I mean, you could even go as far as to say I don't even think Jey Uso was even being thought of as far as we go. Rumble picks go. Nobody was thinking about Jey Uso. Every time you talk about him, I always go back to just the fact that, like, think about where this guy was 5 years ago, and just think about the idea of breaking him up from the Usos. I mean, you never could thought that a twin tag team wrestler could become a single star. But now, as you see with the momentum that he's built up, now he's a megastar. I mean, in the episodes of Raw and SmackDown since he's won the Rumble, he's opened all the shows. And each time he's opened the show and they turn off his music, the crowd has been calling for the music to come back on, and that what shows how super over that he's become.
I mean, none of us had him winning the Royal Rumble. We thought they got that match. We thought he was a dark horse pick, but he wasn't your overall pick, Lewis. Okay, all right, Lewis. But ultimately, we didn't think that. We thought he got his match out of the way at Saturday night's main event. We kind of thought that was a part of it, right? Like, hey, get Jey Uso out there, get him in this title match, and then get on to, I thought, Brock Lesnar or somebody else, Seth Rollins or CM Punk or something like that. Like, it's going to change up the guard and go a different direction. Like, let's just get Jey that moment, have his moment in the sun. I didn't think he was going to win the Royal Rumble. I didn't think that. So to get that nice surprise, man, is just crazy, man. It's just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, like they were selling from this whole leading up to the Rumble, like this Rumble was stacked. You got Roman Reigns, you got CM Punk, you got Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, like so many. And I think we all said this, like there's so many possibilities with this Rumble. And I think I even put Jey in my
Final four.
I'm like, he'll get a nice spot. They'll tease like him getting close. Honestly, towards the very end, I really thought, I'm like, if it's not Punk, it's gonna be Cena. I was like, yeah. It's just like it's his farewell. All this, but they WWE, this is why we watch. You know, they swerved us, and I feel like it's had a big swerve in a long time. You know, and this was definitely one where it was like, why not? You know, and again, I know there's a lot of the IWC that hates this choice, that thinks that WWE made a horrible call. You know, oh, he's just a gimmick, this and that. But it's just like, you know, this is what we all want in wrestling, is for people to get opportunities. And it's like, what better chance to, like, we know the work Jay has put in and how good he is. Some people might say otherwise, but I'm somebody that has been rooting for Jay for a while. You know, since he got that IC title, mind you, I didn't like that he lost it so quick, but I'm like, he's too over right now, and he's a natural baby face that, you know, we don't really have too many of right now. You know, there's all these, like,
I mean, unlike Sami Zayn, who loses all the time, but continue.
Don't start that right, because he's look, another one who's about to go heel basically on his own now too, due to the Karrion Kross effect. But you know, he's definitely a huge natural baby face right now, and it's like, how do you not capitalize on that? And I think that's just what they did.
Yeah. All right, Lewis. I want to go back to the criticism of Jey Uso winning, because I was on the X after the Rumble the next day on Sunday, and there was a lot of pushback towards it. And my whole thing is, you know, there've been plenty of other superstars in the past who were as hot as Jey Uso was, and WWE wouldn't pull the trigger, and then people complained about it. This is one of the very rare occurrences where they're actually pulling the trigger on a guy because he sells merchandise, he gets great crowd reactions. Granted his in ring work, you know, he could use a little bit more to his repertoire, but other than that, he's very decent in ring. And this is the one time where WWE is giving this guy an opportunity. Where in the past they wouldn't listen to the crowd as much, and just assume things and then not pull the trigger, and kind of just stay focused on whatever they had planned. So now they're pulling the trigger on a guy that everybody likes, and just because he's not Kenny Omega or Will Ospreay or whoever these other guys are in the ring, or just because he's not Roman Reigns or not these guys, you guys don't want to go with them. I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me. And
I think it's literally that. It's because the person they want to win didn't win. I don't think it's more of a thing of it because it's Jey Uso. I think it's like, well, you have Roman Reigns, you have CM Punk, you have John Cena. Why are we not going with the bigger star, you know, or whatever?
That's the thing that
wanted the main event to go. That they're like, no, it's got to be one of them. You can't put Jay there. It's like
that's the thing that made it awesome, because you had Roman Reigns out there, you had Seth out there, you had CM Punk out there, you had Logan Paul out there, you had Cena out there, and then it's like, okay, once Roman and Seth got eliminated, it was like, okay, then we're going CM Punk, right? And then once CM Punk got eliminated, and then it's like, we don't want Logan Paul to win. Anybody but him. We'll take Cena. And then once Logan Paul got out of there, it's like, okay, it's going to be Cena. And then they swerved this again. So, I mean, that added to the intrigue of it. And then also looking at Jey Uso, what he's done over the past year, I think he's had the most matches. I think he had the most wins last year. As Brian said, he brought up the merchandise with the shirts and the glasses and stuff like that. He gets the crowd hype all the time. It's not like this guy didn't earn it.
Yeah.
You know, it isn't like this isn't a Miz situation. You know what I mean?
And then talking about, since John Cena was the last one left, I don't understand why people want to like rush John Cena's like retirement in a sense, because, you know, some people were saying why not have John win and go get number 17. It's because you know, you guys do realize John Cena is going to be around for a full calendar year, right? So you guys don't have to rush everything, and like even though it looks as though he may win the Elimination Chamber and get the title match, but at the end of the day, you don't have to rush title 17, because we got a whole fucking year to get to it. Hell, they could even decide to just put the title on him literally on the last Raw he's on, and then he decides to relinquish and retire it, and then it's vacated. So you never know what they're gonna do. So remember, we got John Cena for a full year, so relax.
I mean, I think people just thought the moment, especially with John Cena being, what, wasn't he number 30? No, Logan Paul was number 30. He was like number 20.
He was like 26, 25, something like that.
Yeah. So you figured that he was going to get that opportunity.
He was 23 because I remember telling you, Lewis. Remember when he came out? He's like, "Oh yeah, of course he gets the Jordan number." All right.
Yeah. But no, just in general, just thinking that he's going to be last and thinking that this is his last full year. Why not have him main event WrestleMania in that capacity, win the Rumble? Storybook ending, right? But in terms of what John Cena said in his press conference, he wants to give at this point back to the company, and he's been doing that ever since he had his first semi-retirement. I feel like he's just been giving back, especially with the U.S. title run, giving people a little bit more rub there in those matches and stuff like that, especially with AJ Styles and Sami Zayn when he first came up, and just Rusev, even though that ended badly with Rusev. But just in general, I think that's where he's at, and to give it to a guy like Jey Uso who kind of needs that rub. I think it's great. I think it's great that John Cena was able to do that, and maybe he wins the Elimination Chamber, maybe he doesn't. But to give that spot to Jey, I think it was awesome. I'm just happy for Jey Uso.
I mean, John wasn't thinking about the rest of the talent when he inserted himself into the Elimination Chamber. I mean, did you guys actually see that promo that full promo that he cut at the press conference?
Yeah.
It was a little heelish too, to say like,
earned,
like it's been earned, and like I'm John. I can wait for the next 4 weeks for these guys to bitch and complain about it. I don't care. And it's just like,
as I said, John Cena being heel is on the table. John Cena being heel on the table at this stage would be awesome. The old grizzly Hollywood star veteran, him and Rock form a tag team at some point.
He needs to bring out the chain lock. The chain lock. Start walking around with a damn lock on his chain.
A 40 plus year old rapping, yes.
And see, I think I loved the moment. I mean, me and Brian watched it. I loved, because Jay. I mean, it wasn't the same as like not Kofi Mania, as like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of another like Rumble win that we were like, oh snap, like
maybe Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, it didn't feel as crazy as that, but like it's still like a heartfelt win. It wasn't something we all predicted. Like, the Cody one. I mean, obviously Dan predicted. I'll give him that, but like, was still great. But still in awe that they actually went for it. But like, I think for me, the only thing is just now the only issue I have is just looking forward to the future. And like we'll get into like Raw and everything, but just like what this means for WrestleMania. And it's just like, I don't know. WrestleMania right now is not looking, in terms of like what everybody else is going to be doing. I don't really know how they're going to make this into a grand spectacle if there aren't more stakes in play.
As I said, there's a couple things on the burner that I think they should do. First of all, have a number one contenders match between Roman, Seth, and CM Punk. I feel like that should definitely happen if they're not going to win the chamber. Do something like that where another match doesn't, even though it's not a championship match or anything like that, it has stakes on the match that adds importance for us to keep watching down the road. So I think that's something that they can definitely do.
Yeah, Lewis, I'm actually gonna disagree with you. I think the Rumble actually, especially the men's Royal Rumble, actually left some like interesting stories moving forward. Like little things like when Logan Paul eliminated AJ Styles. I mean, that's a match they could go that I think they're going to for WrestleMania. When Drew the little. The spot with Priest and Drew McIntyre that apparently reports say LA Knight kind of fickled and messed up. They might be going in that direction. And like you said, the roster is already so top heavy that even though if you don't know what stories that the talent are going to be in, the talent is still deep enough where it's just like you can still think of like dream matches. And we'll get into it when we talk about AJ Styles' return. But so I just think that there's, because the roster is so top heavy and because of the Rumble, there are a lot of like interesting stories ways that they can go.
No, yeah, for sure. I think for me, it's like, yes, you can have these dream matches, but it's like, what's at stake? I don't want like people just going to Mania to settle feuds.
The Ula Fala is on stake. Lewis, that's the song.
Anyway, I think we've already done that.
It's like we're gonna get into that individual that came back at the end of SmackDown, because I actually didn't agree with that shit at all, because we'll get into that.
But this is what I'm saying. It's like, I don't know. And like, I think it's great that Braun Breaker has a title and even Shinsuke has a title, but it's like, if these titles were on some of these other guys, I feel like it would bring more level of intensity, I guess, to like you can't just have, let's just have a triple threat with Punk, Roman, and Rollins. Like, for what?
Number one contendership
After Mania?
Yeah. That's how I think they should do it.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, you could do it, but then
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, though. You got to put stakes on something like that, especially guys like that. Yeah, you got to put something on.
Whoa! Are you saying to add another title to?
No.
I mean,
I'm not saying that.
I know what you're saying.
Put something on the line.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if we can get the IC title on somebody, boom, have it at Mania. Get the US title on somebody, boom, have that. Like, just like. I mean, I'm not saying obviously just strip these guys of their title, but it's just like, let's make some championship matches. Let's get stakes up and whatever.
It's still 2 months away, so I'm pretty sure they're going to try to build those storylines. We're seeing the tag team division, which we're going to get into, is picking up a little bit there, picking up a little bit of steam. So hopefully these other titles can get a little bit more prestige. Because when's the last time Braun Breaker even wrestled? I can't remember. It was a couple weeks ago. It was a couple weeks ago. But who did he beat? Was it Sheamus?
Sheamus, yeah.
Was it Sheamus a couple weeks ago?
Didn't Kaiser come in and mess it up?
Yeah. I think it was before. I think it may have been before the. It was either before the Raw before the Rumble or the Raw after.
Yeah. But it's just like, I would like to see him wrestle more week to week or be a little bit more involved. He had the stare down with age, which we'll get into.
Even same thing with Shinsuke. Like, he wasn't even on SmackDown this week. It's like,
I mean, he's kind of. I feel like I don't know if he's in this little holding pattern with the bloodline a little bit, where with LA Knight and Jacob Fatu, and I don't know if that's something that they're playing on, because he's kind of been in and out of that a little bit. But
yeah,
we gotta see what title matches that they're picking up. But we're still a couple months away, at least 2 months away. We still got the chamber, so hopefully things start picking up around the mid card as well. But we'll see what happens. Let's get into the women's side of things. Charlotte Flair, who should choose? She won the Women's Royal Rumble. Predicted by you guys, coming back and winning the Rumble, eliminating Roxanne Perez. First, what you guys think about the Women's Royal Rumble and ultimately Charlotte's return, where she's not getting favorable reviews from the crowd?
Okay.
I think that's a starter. I think that's something that's standing out a lot. She's not getting a very good welcoming back.
She's getting the mid 2000s John Cena treatment. Like, a lot of people hate her.
Yeah. See, here's the thing. We may have picked Charlotte Flair, but we didn't really want her to win. We just looked at the circumstances and said, okay, they're gonna go here with Charlotte. Now, the backlash that you're talking about, Daniel, I think that's happening because of two specific reasons. One, I think it was Michael Cole who put out. It was either Michael Cole or they did it in one of those promo package that for Charlotte when she came back, that she hadn't been in the ring since like late 2023. So it's been it's been like a full year. In that full year, the depth of the women's division has been crazy, especially in NXT. I mean, they showed it in the Women's Royal Rumble. You had Julia, Stephanie Vaquer, Roxanne Perez, and then
Jordan Grace.
Jordan Grace they just signed. Then you got other talent at NXT, Jada Parker, Lash Legend, and there's so many. There's like 10 or 15 other women where if they had won the Women's Royal Rumble, the crowd would have reacted better to it. So you have that, and then you have just the fact that the whole LOL Charlotte wins, the way Charlotte has been booked, it brings back the former booking committee when Vince McMahon was in charge. Now Vince McMahon was fucking he wanted
Charlotte.
Yeah, he wanted Charlotte to match her father's number of title reigns, which I think she's at 13 or 14 right 14. Now. So he was hell bent on putting as many women's titles on Charlotte as possible. And that led to a lot of backlash. So I think those two things are the reason why Charlotte hasn't been getting like positively received. But ultimately, she's a better heel anyway. So
yes.
Mm-hmm. I'm not so much as taken aback by it. I mean, she did try to cut the promo after the Rumble to try to be a babyface. Definitely could sense that the crowd wasn't feeling it, and she tried to switch. She did try to switch it up, which I do love what talent do. Like if the crowd's not feeling you, just switch it up and try to.
Especially right now, while it's early. While it's early.
While it's early. But as far as the rest of the Women's Royal Rumble goes, there's one particular thing that stands out. They definitely fumbled the ball with the 30 spot, having it be Nikki Bella. But I'm not mad at it for the reasons that you would think, because I know a lot of people going into the Women's Royal Rumble, they wanted AJ Lee. But the point is, even though CM Punk may have teased it, you weren't, and Daniel may have predicted it, you weren't going to get AJ Lee. I mean, I think they probably reached out to her, probably asked her, "Hey, you want to come back?" And she probably said, "No, I don't want to wrestle anymore." So that's the fans' fault for thinking that they were going to get AJ. But and I know we're going to talk about Alexa Bliss, but would it really have been any harm if you had just flip flopped Alexa Bliss and Nikki Bella?
Yeah,
that you had Nikki Bella coming at 21 and then Alexa Bliss coming at 30, with everyone being shocked and surprised to see her, because like Michael Cole said on commentary, the internet said she wasn't coming back. Like no one. That
was we're going to talk about her return, but that pop for her,
exactly,
I expected like a good pop for her. But that was like the pop of the night. Like,
I think if you have flip flop there between her and Nikki Bella's spots, I think Alexa would have got the same pop, maybe even bigger, because she's number 30. So other than that, I mean, the Women's Royal Rumble was very good. I mean, obviously the another story coming out of it is the rise of Roxanne Perez, and now she's coming, breaking the record for being in the Rumble the longest time. Seeing as then ended up being in the final two, and then pretty much everybody in that moment hoping that she was the one to come out on top because they didn't want Charlotte. But Roxanne, she's on her way. I think she's having a match next Monday on Raw to try to get into the Elimination Chamber against Raquel Rodriguez. I think she's coming up to the main roster after Vengeance Day, which is this Sunday. So that's gonna be great for her. But yeah, women's division is on the rise, and even though we picked Charlotte, we along with the fans kind of didn't really want her to win. But I definitely understand the backlash.
Yeah, I think it also would have been better if they didn't announce Charlotte beforehand coming back. Like, come on, like, you're in Rumble season. This is the time to surprise people. Like, why? Because I mean, we even had like coming back too, and like that was another one that like we were like, oh, I guess she's not coming back or whatever. But like, you could have also done the same thing with the Women's Rumble. You could have pulled a huge swerve. We're like, Charlotte, look, she's in the end, she's gonna win. It's like, what? Roxanne? What? Jordan Grace? What? Like, make a new star, go a different direction. But sometimes also the obvious choice is the simplest choice, I guess, too, even if it's not what we actually want. But it's like, you also can't deny the star power that Charlotte has as well, too,
It's funny because thinking about Charlotte Flair's title reigns, I'm like, they're doing this because they think that she's going to be on to bigger and better things, probably, right? Like movies and stuff like that. I thought that's what that was, though. They were probably trying to hotshot her and get these wins in and out. But she's been around, and it doesn't look like she's leaving. So it's like, how many things would have been different if they just slow burned her and just kind of kept her in that? And it's just like, I feel like she's never really had that rival next to her, which is probably why they probably did this. I'm just thinking about who she's choosing. I'm like, Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair 3 is on the table right there. And if there's ever a time with injuries with Charlotte or anything like that, you don't know how much longer she has in terms of wrestling and injuries and stuff like that. So I'm wondering if they were just like, let's try to get this third match out the way. And then people are even teasing that she's going to challenge Tiffany Stratton, which is like Era's match, right? Like the new version of Charlotte, right? Like, she's athletic. She can go, she can talk, like she's great in the ring, like she has charisma. Mirror images of each other, right? In terms of just prestige, both blonde, both awesome in the ring. You're just getting that standpoint from that. And then I thought in the Rumble, I thought it was great. I thought Io was great. I thought Nia Jax was going to win. I legitimately, I'm like, she's been on a run all year last year.
Thank you sorry for interrupting you, Dave, but thank you for mentioning Nia Jax. Because that's actually another negative I had with the match. And Lewis, you remember? I think I had mentioned it. I really despise that spot where Nia took out like 7 or 8 women at once. Like the way it looked. Like look about. There were like 6 of them all on the apron fighting one another. And it looked so clunky. It looked out of place. And then here comes Nia just taking like 7 women fighting on an apron, and Nia just pushing everybody off, and it's just like that looked just so. It just looked awkward. Like it just looked unusual, and it didn't come off well to me.
Yeah, it wasn't the greatest spot in the world. I understand what they were doing. It would have been better if she just threw everybody out. She just went on a tear and stuff like that. Probably would have added a little bit more. This is not surprising, but it's just like you kind of didn't want Charlotte to win, but I understand why they went that direction.
Yeah,
maybe there's not as much time on the table. Maybe they want to get her closer to that 16 title reign. She's going to be, if she wins another one, she's at 15. So definitely understand why they would try to go that route, and especially with her and Rhea Ripley, that's like Rock versus Austin, I guess. You know what I mean? Like just to get another third match at WrestleMania would be epic. So I think that's their answer for that.
Yeah. But I do think, though, that regardless of which champion that she picks, Charlotte should not be walking out of WrestleMania with a title. Regardless if it's Rhea, regardless if it's Tiffany Stratton, Charlotte should not win a title match at WrestleMania. Because I just don't think so. Because based upon what you're talking about, Daniel, about like them reasons of why they wanted to, probably wanted to get to this match with trying to, with Charlotte's health and everything, trying to get this third match out. That's even more of a reason to keep the title on Rhea then, because you don't know if you can fully, like, I guess, trust Charlotte now, even though she just came back per se.
I mean, there's as I always say, there's always going to be if there's somebody that should be able to win the champ title at this point, it should be Charlotte. It should be Charlotte. I'm not gonna sit there that she shouldn't walk out. As I in my head, I want her to win the title and start a stable and just be a heel, snobbish type of person. Because that's legitimately the only thing she hasn't done of Rick, right? She hasn't formed the 4 horsewomen. She hasn't done that.
Yeah. Here's the thing: if she goes and does that, I mean, like, since there's already like technically a 4 horsewomen like title with her, Bayley, Becky, and Mercedes Moné, because it's an actual title. Now she actually tries to form like a group. I don't know. I don't know if she could try and duplicate.
But that's the heel. That's the heel point of it.
Unless it's all girls from NXT and you do like an evolution type of thing, maybe.
But I don't know. I'm not against Charlotte winning the title at this juncture because we've seen Rhea carry the title since WrestleMania.
Yeah,
she can continue. Tiffany Stratton just recently won the title, but it's like, how much run is there on that with that at this point in time? So we'll see what happens. But Charlotte, I'm not against her winning, but at the time I was against it. But I understand more in hindsight why they went with her. Let's get into Raw though, with a couple of Raw returns. Alexa Bliss coming back as well with AJ Styles. What do you guys make of Alexa Bliss? Of course, we just talked about her return at the Rumble, but Alexa Bliss returning into in-ring action. I believe she qualified for the Chamber.
She defeat on SmackDown.
Yeah, on SmackDown. She defeated
Candice.
Yeah, Candice LeRae. Yep. So what do you guys make of her return? Coming back into the ring.
Just more depth and people forget, like, she is a multiple-time women's champion. I mean, she was one of the very few women that was booked favorably during when Vince McMahon was in charge. I mean, she had a great character, great gimmick. I know a lot of people didn't really like it when she started kind of adopting Bray Wyatt's gimmick and kind of becoming a Harley Quinn to his Joker in a sense. I mean, I thought she pulled the look off. I mean, she even though you may not have agreed with her doing the character, I mean, she pulled it off very, very well. I mean, I can remember those little Alexa Playground segments where she would be in the ring on the swing set with Lily next to her, and I mean, you might not have liked it, but she pulled it off very, very well. And then at WrestleMania, where she was Sister Abigail and had that little get up with the fucking black blood coming down her face, and it's good to have her back. Obviously, she's obviously going to be paying homage to Bray Wyatt with this new character now. With this character she is right now with the Lily doll and I think the back of her jacket says like fiend or friend for life or something.
Yeah.
So,
homage to Bray.
Yeah, so she definitely is going to be paying homage. I'm definitely going to be interested in like the first promo that she cuts. I mean, she hasn't cut a promo yet, so she was always golden on the mic. So definitely great to have her back. Just add more depth to the women's division, more name value.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised that she hasn't cut anything yet. She hasn't said anything. I don't know if they're kind of holding her off to address the whole Wyatt 6 thing. But yeah, I'm glad that she's in the chamber. I do hope we get a little more out of her before the chamber. But yeah, I think Alexa Bliss has definitely been needed. It's crazy to think that I feel like at one point she was like running stuff on top for a while too. You know, had each title. You know, she did she cash in Money in the Bank?
She did. Yeah,
she did cash in Money in the Bank. So she was always a great asset, and I think, like we talked earlier, like if she would have been in that 30 spot, it would have been an even louder pop.
Yeah.
Definitely a great surprise after everything we heard buzzing around about her contract, maybe not even, not me even be going through or whatever. So, but yeah, great to have her back, and hopefully, I mean, if she does, it sounds like she is going to be in the Wyatt 6, but hopefully this gives them some meaningful direction.
Some runway there.
I feel like, at first I thought that she wasn't going to be a part of it, but they kind of need like a boost right now in a sense. So
yeah, they do.
Especially that since they haven't been on TV in a minute. So
yeah, definitely. As much as I'm not a fan of the Wyatt 6, her being added to it would definitely give them a shot in the arm. I was more of a fan of Twisted Bliss and that type of Alexa Bliss, of her being cocky and sneaky and that type of Alexa Bliss, and great in the ring for her size and what she's able to do in the ring. It was great to have her back. People didn't think she was coming back, especially after all those situations with her health and having a kid and stuff like that. So to see her back is a nice touch to the women's division, and can't wait to see what she does going forward. She's in the chamber, so that's always a nice return. You see some good matches there, so hopefully we'll see more of her going down the line. But what do you guys make of AJ Styles coming back? Looking to be that grizzly veteran. Looking to be that grizzly veteran on the Raw side of things there. What do you guys make of that?
Yeah, I think I said this during the night of the Rumble, Lewis. I think I was like, his return is a reminder of how fucking deep this roster is as far as he goes. Because like you said, you guys named all the top heavy talent. You said Cena, Reigns, Punk, Rollins, Jey Uso now is a rising star. You got Gunther, Cody, KO. And now you throw AJ Styles into that mix. I mean, that's what I said. Like, they're like, and it's so frustrating sometimes in a sense because they're so top heavy that you just wish that you had a story for everybody, but you don't have a story for everybody. Everybody doesn't get on, and then you got some other then you got some of the mid card talent who then ends up missing opportunities because they have to book the top heavy talent so good. So they have WWE has like a good problem right now. They're like they have damn talent. You can sub in like at least 10 or 15. You can have 10 guys. You have 10 guys at the top of your roster right now that are literally interchangeable. You have a whole bunch of stories and storylines that you could go to. And you could throw. I was Drew McIntyre. He's another guy you throw in the mix. So it's like I say, they're so damn deep. There's so many guys that you can think of that they can have stories for. And AJ Styles is AJ Styles at this point. So like, I mean, he was the guy that he was Cody's first title defense, and we were talking about at the time how he was the perfect guy because he's credible enough where you would believe he could beat Cody Rhodes, and he's still credible enough now where it's like I definitely wouldn't be against another world title reign for AJ Styles. Like, so just him being back just makes everything better. And I do think he's gonna have a match with Logan Paul at WrestleMania. I'm predicting that.
That'll be good. That'll be good. That'll be good. But no, I'm happy AJ's back. To have him in this grizzly veteran role, like he still has it. He had a face off with Braun Breaker. had the face off with Dominic Mysterio. Apparently, he's going to be fighting him on Raw next week. So to have that capacity happen and him in that type of role where he's the Grizzly veteran helping guys get over or helping guys just get that ring work back, I think it's good for AJ in this position and maybe elevate him again back to that world title picture at some point. But him and Braun Breaker will be a definitely a contrasting of styles, right? In terms of a high fly versus a guy like Braun Breaker who's breaking through everything. And especially you think about his comparison to Sheamus, right? Two guys that have been around for a long time looking to get them some gold in that mid-card division, right? So that will be a nice touch and a nice addition to that division as well. And as Brian said, this division is stacked. It's just real. The roster's really just stacked with talent and multiple guys.
You named Sheamus. Sheamus is another guy, and Sheamus actually has a very good story going right now. Being the Intercontinental title being the only title he's never won. So he really literally that could be a story for at least the next 4 or 5 months. He could just chase Braun Breaker because I think eventually he
has to win it.
He's probably gonna be the one to control it. It's gonna have to be him.
Yeah, he has to win it at some point. All right, but yeah, good returns. Glad to have these people back, man. Can't wait. Let's get into the Elimination Chamber matches real quick. So far, John Cena's in, CM Punk is in, Drew McIntyre's in, Logan Paul's in. So there's 2 more spots. CM Punk defeating Sami Zayn, and then LA Knight defeated Drew McIntyre defeated
LA Knight
and Jimmy Uso. And Logan Paul defeated Rey Mysterio last night with 2 more matches to go. Hold on, let me look it up. I think there's 2 more matches.
I think it's Seth, Finn, and
Braun Strowman versus Damian Priest versus Jacob Fatu. So that's a pretty interesting lineup there. And why are some matches triple threats and some singles matches?
Again, because the roster's so fucking top heavy. So fucking top heavy. They got spread it out.
So I'm gonna go on a limb. I'm just gonna go with Seth Rollins and Damian Priest.
So we can definitely agree on.
You don't doubt Fatu.
I would like for them to go with him. And
I think he's too hot right now. You can't leave him out of the chamber.
Is he actually? No, he is hot. Never mind.
He is hot. Come on now. Yeah, I mean.
Like I said in the chat, even Tama Tonga is hot too. Has my son doing that mothering too? You're like,
oh man,
over my son. Like, really?
Okay. We were worried about them, right? Coming in, like, was Solo losing? What's the pathway? And they've been able to find a way for their own to hang around there. So kudos to those guys.
We knew Jacob Fatu was going to be fine. It was the other guys that we were concerned with.
Yeah. But they found a way.
I don't know about him, man.
They're finding their ways.
Lewis Tonga is going to be fine, but like I said, him and Tama Tonga, they already have the history of the Gorillas of Destiny tag team. So eventually, and I think they did about backstage segment where Tama Tonga was just staring at the tag team titles, and the DIY grabbed them back, pretty much saying that setting this up. So that might mean that Tonga Loa might be coming back soon, or just might be him and Jacob. Or we'll see.
Let's get into the women's side of things. We got Liv Morgan in, we got Bianca Belair in, we got Alexa Bliss in, we got Bayley in. The final 2 matches for that are Chelsea Green versus Naomi and Roxanne Perez versus Raquel Rodriguez. So definitely going to be an interesting chamber match. We got a good one last year that was in Aussie. This one in Toronto should be just as good. We'll see what happens in a couple of weeks when that all plays out. Let's get into the tag team division picking up. We have the Viking. Whoa. War Raiders.
Viking experience.
We had the War Raiders defeating American Made on the Raw this past week for the tag. Well, no, it ended in disqualification, right? Yep, he grabbed it.
I thought it was the stupidest ending to that match
because they were going, and I just didn't. Yeah, I didn't like the disqualification match, but a lot of tag teams matching. Pretty Diddley picked up a win over DIY on SmackDown. You got the Street Profits interfering in their match at the Royal Rumble, so they're in the mix at some point. You just talked about the Gorillas of Destiny, Brian, potentially targeting the tag team titles as well. So what do you guys make of that? Even on the women's side, we got Io and Dakota versus Liv and Raquel. Raquel and Liv have had success over the women's tag team division, Bianca and Naomi. So what do you guys make of just a mix of tag teams actually getting some action?
All right, so I actually have a question for both of you guys. It's about over on SmackDown. So you see on SmackDown, as far as the tag team division, they've been featuring like 5 teams. It's been Motor City Machine Guns, DIY, Street Profits, Pretty Deadly, and then Legado del Fantasma. So my question to you guys is about DIY. Do you guys feel that Triple H is kind of force feeding DIY to the fans? Kind of like because he knows how great they were in NXT. I mean, they pretty much were his 1 and 2 in NXT when they were both single stars. So do you think he's kind of like force feeding DIY?
I don't think it's force feeding. I think it's maybe just trying to highlight them. Obviously, they've been a tag team before, and I feel like maybe weren't given the opportunity as much. And yeah, maybe he is trying to capture that little bit of the NXT magic a little bit and kind of help them, climb up as a more opposing tag team. But I wouldn't say force feeding. Yeah, sometimes it's like, but it's also been like, you had the Motor City Machine Guns come in, win off rip, and it's like, you had that great. The whole like mentorship story. Maybe you could have dragged that out, I feel like, a little bit longer. But I think this is also just giving them more time to show like why they're such a great tag team, why they're
I think it's warranted, right? In terms of you're gonna have somebody hold the belts. You have the 2 longest standing guys from NXT, right? They're kind of been that next run since the changeover to 2.0. They've kind of been those guys that have been around the block a long time, and I feel like it's warranted. I've wanted DIY to have some type of tag teams, have some type of success on the main roster. To have it now, and especially with this influx of tag teams, it looks like they're building up. I want them to be those guys that hold the titles, right? Because there's so much history and prestige as those guys as individuals and as a tag team. To get those guys together now, I feel like there's just adding more intrigue and more prestige to the tag team division. So I think it's good. I think it's good to have those guys there, and hopefully they can continue to build up with the Motor City Machine Guns, build that rapport with them. The Street Profits, hopefully they get involved. Pretty Deadly, Legado del Fantasma. Keep those guys in the mix and keep having those mix and matches there that are going to just keep building there. I think that's the thing that's going to be crucial as those guys are the leader of the tag team divisions right now.
Yeah. The only reason why I had been asking is because obviously I seen a report that apparently that Triple H was a little frustrated by the response that the crowd gave to the tag team match at the Royal Rumble. Felt as though like with those tag teams and with their style that he thought the crowd would be more into it, But it's kind of been a trend with the DIY. I mean, he's been trying so hard to recapture the magic that they had in NXT. Oh, the magic that Johnny Gargano had, being Mr. NXT, being pretty much the guy over there, and they've been trying to capture it on the main roster, and it's coming very slowly. But that's the only reason why I wanted to.
I think they messed up there with the booking because they should have went out first. I think that's what it is. I think they should have went out first and got the crowd hyped up, and they just went through a women's rumble, and then the tag team match came in, and then you still got Cody and Owens, which was crazy.
Yeah, cool.
And then you have the men's Royal Rumble to end it. I think they should have went out first, got it out the way. I think that's just a booking thing that might have just shut off the crowd a little bit, because a lot of people felt the same way, where they were like, we don't want to see this. Like, who are these guys? Like, some people didn't know who DIY was, who I was talking to. Some people didn't know who the Motor City Machine Guns. I'm like, okay, so people either haven't been watching wrestling for the past 10 years or this just isn't hitting. And I just didn't feel like that. It wasn't hitting. I just felt like it was a booking thing of going through the women's division so fast, the women's Royal Rumble, and then having that tag team match follow up. It's just like, I can understand where people were kind of dragged by it. But I think the tag team division's getting in a good place. We're actually getting matches week to week and getting some new tag teams. Pretty Deadly's coming back as well. So hopefully we continue to do that. Before we go, I wanted to get into the WWE releases recently that happened this past week. Surprisingly, a couple people here on there. Authors of Pain got released. Paul Ellingsley, again, probably his final stance with the company at this stage. Duke Hudson, Cedric Alexander, Sonya Deville, Pure Fusion Collective, over. Over.
Adios.
Over. Blair Davenport, Alia Dawn. That's crazy. Illidan. Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows are gone now as well. Giovanna Vinci and Elektra Lopez are gone as well.
Yeah.
So that is just surprising because, you know, they're part of Legado del Fantasma on SmackDown. So that's pretty much dead. The Final Testament is pretty much dead. Pure Fusion Collective is pretty much dead. Like all these teams. Is that Duke Hudson was in Chase U.S., right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yes, that potentially did. So that was like a long-standing gimmick in NXT, and now it's gone potentially. So where does that leave Andre Chase as well? Blair Davenport, she was a young up-and-comer. Now she's gone. So it's like, what do you guys make of these WWE releases?
Yeah. There's two names. There's two names initially that stick out. There's Blair Davenport and Giovanni Vinci. You know, when they got drafted, like there was no plan for either one of them. Like especially Blair Davenport. I mean, they brought her up. I think she was like the last pick in the draft for one of the years. They brought her up. They had her in a little mini feud with Naomi that kind of didn't really go anywhere, and then they tried to pair her up with Isla Dawn and Alba Fire, join them, and then that didn't really go anywhere. And the next thing you know, she was off TV. And I've seen her in NXT as a heel. Yeah, she was very good with her work. I mean, the feud that she had with Roxanne Perez was perfect because Roxanne was the perfect babyface and she was the perfect heel for her. So you see the talent there with her. Giovanni Vinci, he was just a swing in a miss, and it doesn't even look like they even gave him a chance in the first place because they booked him like a complete loser.
He was the European Alberto Del Rio.
Exactly. His first solo match, he lost it in 3 seconds against Apollo Crews. And the following week, he lost again. And in ring wise, Giovanni Vinci is probably one of the best talents that they had because his tag team when he was teaming up with Ludwig Kaiser when they were Imperium in NXT, they put together some like banger matches. I mean, there were a couple of matches where like Giovanni Vinci was kind of like the MVP of the match for some of the feats that he would perform. I mean, he had both power. He was a high flyer that had power and strength as well. So I think he was a guy that they definitely dropped the ball on. And as far as AOP goes, I mean,
that's the one that's shocking to me because it's like especially now they're building up the tag team division and they just released
don't utilize them whatsoever.
Yeah, but think about it. The thing with them when you got a team like that, would you agree that it's kind of hard to book a team like that because it's like you kind of
just have them destroy everybody like they were in NXT.
That's the thing. And then after they destroy everybody, then what?
Everybody's 5'10". Just have them destroy everybody.
That's the problem. You also could have the problem with booking them because they're so big and dominant. It's just like. They have to dominate it. You have to dominate everybody. I mean, obviously, you suspend your disbelief in certain situations, but because of who they are and how they look, it's like after they dominate everybody, then what?
But they could have easily had a feud with the War Raiders. The War Raiders are like similar size, big, and yeah, you could have just made them huge monsters. I don't know why they didn't just let them do tag team wrestling. They stuck around carrying across for the whole time and probably like. Never did anything.
Yeah.
And again, like we said with Vinci, he had the athleticism, the wrestling and everything, but we never got to hear him really speak. We never got to see him like.
It's like once he left Imperium, it was like,
yeah,
where would
you're on your own, but we're not going to utilize you. It's like
he should have been probably a guy that went down to NXT.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But the thing is, with some of the talent that they bring up, like it's like it seems like they don't have a plan for some of these talents, and
I'm surprised that's still happening.
That shouldn't be a thing. It's like, if you're drafting them from NXT, there should be a plan in place for them to have success on the main roster.
Yeah,
if you don't have a plan for them, keep them in NXT and have them keep improving. It's that simple. Now,
success.
I saw a report that sorry to interrupt you, Daniel. That apparently that they released all this talent because they got people from NXT and other people that they signed are about to come up after WrestleMania and such or before then. But you got to have a plan for these talents, or else they get lost in the shuffle. Or
even if they're lost in the shuffle, have them just wrestle week to week. There's enough time on TV. That's my thing.
Yeah.
Like not everything has to be a 12-minute match or a 3-minute match or something. You have to squeeze in as many 3-minute matches, but a lot of the times you just have matches just to have them and get them out the way.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like there's some talent there, especially with Blair Davenport, Authors of Pain.
Yep. But don't anybody worry about Cedric Alexander. As soon as his 90 days are up, Tony Khan has a contract waiting for him to join the Hurt Syndicate. So
Tony Khan has the contract in the limo waiting at Jacksonville.
Cedric will be fine. Cedric is going to AEW to join the Hurt Syndicate.
He has the contract and limo waiting at Jacksonville International Import. Here's
the thing about even though I'm saying that's going to happen, it really shouldn't happen because in a sense, because as far as AEW goes, like you guys already have enough fucking talent to feature. You don't need to be bringing in more people. Even though Cedric would have a role, you still got a whole bunch of other talent on there who you could use to give them a role, but. But Cedric is going to AEW.
I mean, they just had all those releases because they had to pay Ricky Starks. Breaking news tonight: Ricky Starks is on NXT, so that's why they have to have all those releases, man. They have to clear the cap. make sure they can sign him, man. He's in NXT now, man.
And he's gonna have a big impact. I know some people look at him and they look at his size and say, what can he do? No. Yeah, his mic work alone is better than like more than half of the wrestling industry right now.
Let's just say this: in NXT, he's gonna do wonders. I feel like they need a shot in the arm a little bit on the men's side of things, and I feel like he's gonna give it to him.
Like I said a couple of weeks ago when Penta's debut, I'm like, Triple H is not stupid. If he gets somebody from AEW, he's gonna be sure that they're taken care of, so he can get more people from AEW. So
and at least showcased in the right light, because a lot of the times these guys are just lost in the shuffle in AEW, not given the opportunity.
Yeah, you don't see him for a while.
He's definitely like, hey, as soon as we sign these guys, we're gonna get them in there and make them look good. So at least there's that.
Yo, Penta looks like a fucking monster now. I don't know about you guys. He's fucking like that promo package they did for him, where he's talking about what Ludwig Kaiser and Pete Dunne did to him, with the fire in the background and everything. It's like, yeah, they got Penta looking like a fucking 10 times bigger than Rey Mysterio ever was.
Even though he's like probably like 2 inches taller.
Yeah,
he's literally like an inch taller.
Yeah,
but nah, he looks great. Ricky Starks, he's going to be a good addition to the roster. So. Definitely a lot of moving parts as we continue to move into this new era of WWE and this new presentation. And I'm still loving Raw on Netflix. Loving it each second. Things are going good right now in WWE. We'll catch up next week, building up more to the Elimination Chamber. We're going to get some elimination matches. Just quick notes. Roman Reigns is out. Apparently, he's not going to be in the chamber with that concussion, apparently, or whatever they got him written off for. So we'll see what happens with that. That's definitely interesting.
They just don't want him getting pinned.
Just don't want him. Yeah, don't want him to get pinned. But I'm like,
just don't want him catching the L in the chamber. So just don't keep him.
I don't like that. I don't like that. KO reigniting his feud with Sami Zayn, attacking him past Monday Night Raw last week.
Hold up, Daniel. You gotta say it right. KO and Sami reigniting their feud the right way. Okay.
Yeah.
That needs to be established, because I know people are complaining that they're feuding again, but no, this is going to be KO and Sami done the right way. Okay.
From NXT.
This McMahon bullshit booking the right way.
So we're definitely going to get a good match at WrestleMania between those two. They should fight in Toronto.
Who?
Sami and KO. And then they should fight again at WrestleMania.
No, it's probably not going to be a match. It's probably going to be like a backstage fight or something. Like an in-ring.
They should have a
fight.
They should have a singles match at Elimination Chamber, and then they should do it again at WrestleMania. They deserve that. I feel like that. I feel like they should get that spotlight. But that'll be doing it all for us here, Brian Lewis and myself, Daniel. Always kick it on too. And until next time, guys, keep going.